When my brother took me out horseback riding for the first time, he said every single time we go out, we learn a new lesson. At that moment, I was learning a lot of lessons because I was attempting my first ride on a horse ever at 51 years old. But what I didn't realize until a lot later was how much our adventures would teach me about how I want to approach the whole rest of my life, with bravery, resilience, and trust. And believe me, in one day on horseback, we had to use a lot of all of those qualities. I'm not scared of horses. I do understand that they're extremely large animals and I have a healthy respect for them, but for me it didn't take any bravery to just approach a horse or to be near one. However, I am scared of looking like a fool. I hate feeling unskilled or incompetent or bad at something, and believe me, no one does anything for the first time, especially something like dealing with a live animal, without looking at least a little bit foolish. Like, there was a point in my life where I was flexible and there was a point where I was skinny, and neither of those points are now. So I felt like a huge lumbering beast climbing onto this horse for the first time, or trying to climb up onto the horse. I needed a bit of a boost. And once I was up there and holding the reins in my hand, I not only felt incompetent, I was incompetent because I had no idea how to use those two pieces of rope in my hand to actually convince this horse under me to do anything. Facing that incompetence, that utter lack of knowledge, and letting it show, actually asking for help, that required so much bravery. On my part, that was the biggest act of bravery of them all. There's an opportunity in being a beginner though. There's a chance to be completely open and completely free and to just soak up others' expertise and watch them shine. But to truly allow yourself to be open to that sort of learning, you have to be brave enough to let your ignorance show. So I did. I took the help that I needed to get my horse to stand next to a rock so that I was able to climb up on him. And I let my brother, we'll say, gently guide me through learning how to saddle up a horse. What? What did I do? Why are you hitting me?
Loop twice.
Did I not loop twice? I allowed the more experienced riders to correct me about how I was using the reins and what I was actually telling the animal with my movement. And I was brave enough to keep trying, even when I was making mistake after mistake after mistake. One of the many things that I learned over the first few horseback rides that I took is that riding horses is in no way just about riding horses. My brother, my nephew, a friend, and I all went out for a day of riding just before I was due to leave Utah. There were at least 5 times during our day when one or more of us were ready to just turn it in and go home, never mind the reward that might await us at the end of the ride. And it was a really good reward. And that started at the very beginning of the day when we realized that we did not have the keys to the horse trailer with us. We also didn't have a screwdriver or a chisel or any way of breaking the lock. And I know I'm not the only one who thought maybe the best course of action would be to just turn around and go home. My brother was not to be dissuaded though. He really wanted to go on this ride with us. And so he gathered every tool at his disposal. And after about an hour or so of effort, he did manage to break into that lock, retrieve our saddles, and start us gearing up for the day. By the time we did get the horses saddled up, a storm had rolled in. So we've got some light rain going on. Just a little hail.
Man, what's the rule I always say? I always say bring jackets.
Our saddle pads were wet. We were soaked through. It was cold. Our fingers were numb. And we'd gone maybe only 100 yards into the forest before we gathered into a circle to discuss whether it was worthwhile to keep going. I think my nephew said, if we call it now, we can at least go get dinner, right? But under the canopy of trees, it seemed like maybe it wasn't so bad. Maybe we could keep going just a little bit further. There would always be the opportunity to turn around later, but there wouldn't be the opportunity to keep going if we turned around right then. And so we continued until one of the horses tripped on a wire.
Over the pipe, right here, big question.
Yeah, I know. Look how she does it. Nice and easy.
We were very lucky in that moment. That could have been really bad. And we spent quite a while watching the horse move, making sure that his leg wasn't seriously injured. And for a moment there, it looked like he might have been. And I'll admit, in the sleet and the rain and the cold, it seemed like it might be a pretty convenient excuse just to turn around, get the horses in the trailer, and get back inside the warm truck. But after watching for a while, we decided that the horse wasn't injured, that we could keep going, and we did. Until we got to a bridge. I had no idea what an obstacle a footbridge can be to a horse.
You want to see if Sky will go up? He won't go up. Come on, guys. Let's go. Up, up. Step, step, step. Oh my gosh.
But there was no way across this gorge except across this bridge.
Oh, poor guy.
And our horses did not like the idea of crossing it. In this case, it probably wouldn't have been our choice to turn around, it would have been the horses. But resilience. It took luring with carrots and pushing from behind and lots of encouragement and probably about 45 minutes before all 4 horses were willing to face their fear and take some steps across the bridge. But we didn't give up, and eventually they didn't either. Finally, we made it to a beautiful lake.
Isn't that rad? This is why Utah is pretty awesome.
Yeah. And we took the opportunity to climb off the horses, to take some photos, to stretch our legs, and we thought, maybe this is enough. Maybe after all we've been through with the rain and the hail and the stubborn horses and the missing key, maybe this is the reward that we came for. But we knew that there was more beyond. Once again, we talked about turning around. We wondered if, as late as we got started, it was worth it to keep on pushing up the mountain, through the switchbacks, to the view at the top. We could have stopped, but a camper had told us that the weather often cleared up around 5 o'clock, that the sun would come back out, and for a while before it went down, it would be beautiful. And we chose to trust that, and we kept going, and it was worth it. 2 things you should know. I am very afraid of heights, and horses definitely have minds of their own. The trail up this particular mountain had extremely tight, extremely rocky, extremely narrow switchbacks. These are not things that I like. But the one piece of advice my brother Mark kept giving over and over and over again was, trust your horse. Yes, he has a mind of his own, but while that mind may be interested in veering off the path for some grass, it definitely isn't interested in throwing itself off a cliff and dying. And so I eased up, I relaxed my arms and legs, and I put my trust in the horse to keep us steady as we went up those switchbacks. I focused on evening out my breathing and trusting that being that I was paired with to keep both of us safe. And I'm here today, so it turns out he was worthy of my trust. Another thing you might want to know is that a horse's head is about as big as my torso. And I tell you that for no particular reason, except, well, so you know that this took a lot of trust. I think a lot of people love animals because they feel like animals are more trustworthy than people. That our pet dog or our house cat or our horse won't let us down in the way that a person might. But I think that all of us, animals and people alike, act the way we do for reasons. It's not easy to trust. It's not easy to believe that people are fundamentally good. But the rewards of carrying that belief are so great that I'm willing to live with the risks. The rewards of persevering through difficult times are great enough that I'm willing to live with the discomfort. And the rewards of learning something new are great enough that I'm willing to live with the awkwardness. And I hope that I've convinced you to do the same. Until next time, I'm wishing you love and joy and all those good things, and I can't wait to talk to you again. This is my little brother, Mark.
Oh, right, the
That's
intro
your
of the
intro?
show. Yes, that's right. Boop, 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 boop.
There
From
you go.
Jim. No, that was bad.